The city regulator is quite clear on its position, saying hedge funds should not be subject to the same rules as banks. But the question is whether the rest of Europe's going to listen as regulators meet in Brussels this week. So let's get the views now of Karsten Schroeder, CEO of hedge fund Amplitude Capital. Thank you very much indeed for speaking to us. So tell me, what are your expectations from EU regulations on hedge funds? How do you think it's going to impact on the funds?
Well, first of all, I think there's a strong need for a regulation. That's without any doubts. The aspects that have been discussed in this regulation discussion that we've seen over the last months, even 1.5 years, are not the proper ones. If we take a look at the core point, that's for discussion. It's the passporting into the various EU countries, whereas some of the member states, such as the UK, would advocate a central passporting, so a central marketing rule for all European states, which also makes it obviously easier for the funds, whereas some countries like France would like to have their own marketing standards. That has nothing to do with making the marketplace, a more efficient, a more safer place. It's just a move of a protectionism for the French market, and that's neither good for the funds nor for the investors. So I think the points that they're focusing on in this discussion that we're going to have today in Brussels are not the good ones.
But do you think that there is a danger that hedge funds may be subjected to the same rules as banks?
I don't think so, because at the end of the day, a hedge fund is a pretty small private enterprise, and I don't think that you can impose regulations on compensation schemes within the hedge fund, or impose regulations on the fee schemes that hedge funds would charge to their clients. It's a private business relationship between the fund manager and the client, and I don't think that that is anything that should be discussed. Also, it had nothing to do with what has caused the crisis. So to that extent, I believe the regulator should only deal with issues that are actually system relevant.
But are you confident that that's going to happen?
Yes, with what I'm looking at the moment, I think the only really tough and difficult aspect really is this marketing and this passporting issue. I do not believe that we will see a regulation of how we are supposed to run our businesses. I really can't see that happening.
I wanted to quickly ask you one question. Some research, this according to Bank of America Merrill Lynch, saying that 20% of hedge funds globally may be liquidated by the first quarter because smaller managers are starved for fees and new capital. What do you make of that?
We have certainly seen a tendency towards new assets going more to the bigger firms. That is certainly true. I don't think that on the overall asset level we're going to see a decrease, so that's not the problem. But I would agree with the study that we see a shift towards bigger managers, and therefore the smaller and the newer ones will have difficulties to survive. That I would certainly agree with, yes.
Karsten Schroeder, Chairman and CEO of Amplitude Capital, thanks very much.